Hello, my name is Nancy Mitchell, and honestly I never thought I'd be making this video. If you've clicked the title you probably know what's about to go down, but here is my experience with Britain's Next Top Model. Okay, firstly I'm going to excuse my hair because I'm putting it up, it's very hot, it's like 30 degrees. I'm not wearing it down, I refuse. I had previously had no experience with modelling or anything like that. It's actually something that my mum said that I should look into. It's a long backstory, a long negative backstory of I used to suffer from anorexia, and I think that people got into their head that because I was so thin that I could portray this role of the model. We all know nowadays that that's not healthy, but regardless of that, let's get straight into it. So, I see an open casting for a modelling programme. One can only assume that if you are within this crowd, you know what this show is. I had absolutely no idea. I had no idea what I was getting myself into, so I applied. Basically, all I had to do was fill out this long form. I had to talk about my height, my measurements, where I see myself in the future, which models I think I look like, which was one that I was kind of surprised with, to be honest, because surely we're all trying to be unique in our own worlds, but that doesn't matter. So after I had filled out the form, it was pretty basic, I sent it off. I thought absolutely nothing of it because I just assumed that I wouldn't get it. I was wrong. Nothing happens for the next maybe 3 weeks or so, and then I get a random email from, actually I'm not going to say their name, I get a random email from someone basically saying that they are really interested in me and they want to hear more. So at this point I am asked to do a casting video, and this is when I realised that it's for Britain's Next Top Model. Again, I wasn't too familiar with the show. All I knew is that my sister watched it and it was one of those things that she would binge watch. But I had heard of America's Next Top Model and I knew that it was quite big out there, so obviously I was quite excited. She sends me through the information and tells me all of the things I have to do in my casting video. All I had to do in the next part of the video was demonstrate my personality and show myself walking. Now, what they mean by walking is they wanted to see me walk in a bikini and also fully clothed. This is to kind of like give them a general idea of my physicality, what my body type is, and which category they can put me into. So I can probably insert a few clips of me in the casting video. Bear in mind this is a few years ago now, this is maybe 2017, so I'm still a baby. I'm still a baby now, so let's not lie about that. So yeah, I do everything that they tell me to in this video. I even go into the depths of something a little bit different at the end. I talk about mental health, or there's a tiny segment at the end where I talk about mental health and how imperative it is. If anyone isn't new to this channel for some reason, you will see that I do have a video about mental health. It's a spoken word piece because it's a topic that is very close to my heart, and I know you hear a lot of people say that nowadays, but honestly I'm not being totally blasé about it. It is something that is seriously a great deal of a topic. I'm not very good with words. So I talk about that, and it's risky. It's a seriously risky manoeuvre because I think they're going to see it, they're going to think I'm an absolute psycho, and they're just going to say, absolutely, no way do we want you on our show. Which I understand completely, but I wanted to be as honest as I could. Somehow it worked. This is where it starts to get a little fishy. I hear absolutely nothing for maybe the next couple of months, and I just assume that, you know, they're not interested in me because a lot of these types of jobs, if you haven't got the job, you won't get an email saying, sorry, you were unsuccessful. Most of the time you will just hear nothing, and that's kind of your way of knowing that, sorry hun, it's just not for you. Then out of the blue, I think a good 4 or 5 weeks later, I get an email saying, hi Nancy, thank you for your casting video. We really like your look and we'd love you to come and have a chat with the producers. What I didn't know is what I was going to have to do was essentially everything I had done already in the video, just in front of a panel of judges or producers and directors and film crew. I was going to have to walk in my bikini in front of all of them. At the time, I didn't really think anything of it. Looking back, I should have been a little bit hasty. I was very young I think I should have been a little more careful, because even though this did happen to be the real bunch, if I had just gone on a whim and assumed that these people were professionals, it could have turned really bad. So I urge any of you out there who get emails like this, please, please, please make sure they're genuine, and don't just get on a train to London and walk in your bikini in front of people, because that is not okay. I packed my things and I go to London, and to be honest, I was really, really excited. It is at this point where I had to print off a big contract. I didn't want to leave any loopholes, so I made sure that I read the entire fine print of what was in this contract, because I didn't want to, basically. I'm reading through my contract, and then it gets to a section where it talks about how if the producers aren't happy with your performance on the show, that you are willing for them to cut it to make you look like a certain character. And essentially what this means is that if the show seems a little boring and there's not much happening, they will deliberately cut your scenes in post to make you appear as the bitch, or the shy one, or the cool one, or the edgy one. You have no choice in the personality that you're going to present yourself on TV. You are not allowed to be yourself. Let me tell you, this contract was like thick. This was like Nicki Minaj thick contract. There were so many little pieces in here that I won't even go into because I don't want to get in trouble. It was a big American contract. If any of you have ever gone through one, you understand how like dense it is and how much information there is, like regarding legals, what you're not allowed to talk about, what you're allowed to do, what you're not allowed to do. With Next Top Model, there was a big section saying that you weren't allowed like contact to the outside world. You were not allowed your mobile phone. You've got no freedom, basically. You're signing your life away to these people. And even after the show was up, you were still tied down to these contract rules. So you couldn't talk about what was going on or anything on the inside, because you would be in serious trouble. Like, we're talking serious trouble. It's not even the first time we see this in TV, because if any of you watch Love Island, I'm sure a lot of you do, and if you're from the UK you probably understand what I mean when I say people will deliberately go home to make sure they can catch this particular TV show. They will all be on the same contract. I have a small amount of experience with Love Island, let me just tell you. Basically, I was approached by somebody who had a casting for Love Island because they like to fill the roles with models and actors as well as normal people to make the show more interesting, let's just say. So their contract is going to be very, very similar to a show like Britain's Next Top Model. Just so you know, when you watch Love Island, it's not real, it's all fake. Most of it anyway. I'm sure some of you who maybe been on Love Island can say, oh, all these experiences were real. Yeah, probably not. Sorry for spilling the tea. I get to London and the location is sketchy. We're in the middle of Mayfair. If any of you know Mayfair, you know it's quite a nice place. The area you envision when you think of London and you think of high street fashion. However, where we were going, not so fancy. Where the location is really dodgy, there are some small pieces of paper to show you like where to go. I enter this building that is just a random side building, and I see one man sat at a desk, and the room is completely bare. There's nothing in there, just one man and his desk. I walk up to him, expecting him to say, "Are you here for the Next Top Model casting?" He says nothing. I just have to walk up to this man. He says, "Upstairs." That's all he says. And these stairs are like a Wetherspoons amount of stairs. If any of you have been to a Spoons, you know the amount of stairs I'm on about. It was a Wetherspoons amount of stairs. And I finally get up there, and that's when I'm greeted by two ladies sat at a desk. They ask for my name and they give me one of those sticky numbers to put on your clothes so I'm easily identifiable for the producers. Whilst I'm sat there waiting, I see these other models, these beautiful girls come out of the casting room, and some of them are in dressing gowns, so obviously they had done their bikini walk in front of the producers, and they seemed pretty happy. They were all walking around quite smiley, quite comfortable, quite cheerful. And it's this that kind of settles me a bit, because I realise, oh, hang on a minute, these girls are safe. I will note that in the email they had specifically told me to bring in a bikini because I would be walking in my bikini in front of these producers. I also had to do it fully clothed, but I would have to do it in swimwear also. Keep note on that. Whilst I'm waiting outside, the girls on the front desk pull me to one side and say, we're just going to do a quick short video for our Instagram. All we want you to do is tell us your name, your height, and who your favourite model is. And at this moment I panic because I have absolutely no idea about famous models. I know like the generic ones. Kylie Jenner, Kendall Jenner. Oh my god, I'm still bad. So she shoves this phone in my face like mother trying to take a picture style. So I panic and I'm like, my favourite model is Cara Delevingne because she really want to know. She's so inspiring and like, she just looks really nice. So I waffled on about Cara Delevingne for maybe 5 minutes. I was making it up on the spot and they could probably tell that. So then I sit back down for maybe 2 minutes. It's at this point I'm called into the room with the producers. I have to put on my heels and walk into this room to be greeted by like an entire film crew. It's very X Factor style. There is a mark on the floor right in the middle that I have to go and stand on. There's a panel of people sat behind a desk. There's a big cameraman, there's a boom op, there's everything. I have to tell them my name, my height, what I like to do, just all these basic things that they already know that they just want to hear come out of my mouth. It's at this point that they say, right, show us your walk. And I'm like, okay. For this part, I'm walking in my clothes because how they were running it is you go in twice to see the producers. The first time you talk and you do your fully clothed walk, and then the second time you come out, you get changed into your robe, and then you wait again to walk in your bikini. So I'm just doing my clothed walk at the moment. I think I'm smashing it. I'm walking in front of them, I'm feeling confident. Everything is going well. Or so I thought. They say they really, really like my look. They think I would be great for the curve model of the show. Bearing in mind I'm a size 10. Typically curve models are size 12 plus, maybe even 14 plus. I'm by no means your standard runway model, but I wouldn't say that I fit into the category of curve either. If you look at the ratio that they prefer for curve models, I'm not anywhere near it. I'm kind of a cut and shut when it comes to the modelling world, but nonetheless they tell me that they really like my look and they want to consider me for the curve role of the show. At that point I'm kind of like, oh, okay, and I go back outside to get ready to be called for my swimsuit walk. I sit down on the chairs and the girls on the desk tell me, thank you for coming, you can go. I'm told then and there to leave the premises. Very politely, I will add. They were very polite about it. But I was just shocked. I'm walking down the stairs and I'm thinking, hang on a minute. I'm the only one who hasn't been asked to walk in my bikini. Everyone else here has been asked to walk in their bikini. And I will stress, everyone that was there walked in their bikini. I was the only one that didn't. I'm assuming that they absolutely hated my guts and they didn't want to see my face again. So we kind of mope around London for a bit because the whole process only takes maybe a couple of hours. We make the most of it. We have a cracking day. We go and get Italian food. We're feeling Gucci right now. Apart from that, I hear nothing for weeks. To be honest, I completely forget about the whole ordeal. I don't want to think about it because every time I do think about it, I overthink. I then start to second guess the way I look, my shape, that I'm not good enough, that I can't take on this modelling career because of the way I am. And I'm not about to go and change the way I am to kind of fit into any A or B category because it's just not fair. Then all of a sudden, out of the blue, maybe a couple of months later, I get an email from Britain's Next Top Model. The email enclosed tells me that, thank you for coming. I had made it very, very close. There were hundreds of beautiful girls that were all stunning, whatever, but I don't quite make the cut. Considering I was the only one there who wasn't even asked to walk in my bikini, I knew that as soon as I had walked in that room, they had already made their mind up just by looking at my body shape. that I wasn't good enough for the show. These TV shows that you see, the way they treat people and the way that subconsciously they're judging you is like out of this world, and it's happening everywhere. It's happening all over TV. Please don't put yourself down if these opportunities come along. They're not what you expect them to be. They're just kind of filtering people in, filtering people out. They don't care about your feelings. They don't care about your personality. They're seeing you as an object for entertainment, nothing else. So if any of you have had experience with Britain's Next Top Model or America's Next Top Model, you can probably understand what I mean when I said that this casting process was very strange. It's the way that I was hearing nothing throughout. There was very little communication. I was always unsure about what was happening next, and most of the time I felt like I had to constantly repeat myself to remind them who I even was. The funny thing about this whole ordeal is maybe a few months after I have gone through the entire casting process, the whole show is axed after maybe a decade or so of runtime. It's just completely wiped off TV. Gone. So whether or not I screwed up the whole show, I don't know. I don't feel like I'm in danger anymore. I thought, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to tell you what happened to me and my time. I just want to say thank you very much for listening to me waffle on in my bathroom for 20 minutes or so. I don't know how long this is going to cut to, but I've been talking for nearly half an hour now. So stay humble, stay true to yourselves, don't try and change yourself for any kind of director, producer or TV show, because you are perfect the way you are, and don't try and change it. My name is Nancy Mitchell. You can check me out on Instagram if you feel like it, or if you don't feel like it, that's cool too. Maybe I'll see you in the next one. Maybe.